Hey guys, this is Ron at Atlas Survival Shelters. I'm going to do a kind of like a sales pitch. I'm going to explain my shelter to you. So I redid my video from an earlier one, but this is the Atlas Survival Shelter. Now, years ago when I wanted a shelter, I was going to go out and buy one because I was too busy building other products in my steel fab shop. So I was thinking, I'll just go ahead and buy one, and I don't have time to build one. So I Googled the term bomb shelters, and the first guy that popped up was a fiberglass one. And this is up near Dallas, Texas, and I'm not harping on anybody. I'm just showing you guys exactly what I saw. Okay, and there was nothing wrong, but I'm just going to show you what I saw and what I learned is why I built the Atlas Survival Shelter. So this is a fiberglass shelter, and you enter through a staircase, you come down, and I guess this one here you crawl through, and it's buried about 4 feet underground. And this price on this particular shelter was, I think, $350,000. It's 25 feet long. It looks like it sleeps like 4 people, maybe 6 people. And there's an actual picture of me inside it right there, okay? So I went and did a tour and visited like 4 or 5 different people, and basically decided I'm just going to build my own, and came up with the company. But I learned one thing. If you guys are up in Wisconsin and or Michigan or Minnesota, and the ground freezes down 4 feet, boy, it's going to get cold inside there. But this shelter is rated Department of Defense, so if you buy one like this one, it's rated with Department of Defense. You got to get a permit from the Department of Defense, and then the government knows you got it. It kind of defeats the purpose, but it was clean. It was pretty nice. So the second one, close the door. Second one I went to was in I went and looked at one that a guy had buried in Utah that he made about 20 years ago, and this is the actual shelter. There's a bunch of barracks inside there, and that's actually me inside it. And I went to the guy's factory to see what you got for the $70,000 or whatever it costs, and that's the finished shelter right there. That's how it comes. You've got the bunks are squared off, add the counters for like $4,000. The lights are all up here in the unistrut. And that's the completed shelter, and I guess you complete it yourself. And I want everything done. If I was going to buy one, I want everything done. So I actually went to the guy's factory, and actually this is another video of the actual guy's inside the shelter. This is his radios, and it's kind of messy inside there. But you know what? The shelter is definitely going to save your life right there. And I learned a lot just by looking at these. So I went to another guy, which was in Colorado, and this was smooth steel. And but the guy's, I believe, is out of business, so I didn't talk anymore about it. The inside wasn't done, so I didn't get to see it. So then I went to Texas, and there was a couple guys making these square box ones. And I pretty much immediately knew that I didn't like the square box ones for several reasons. First of all, I noticed that the depth of these things was only like a foot, anywhere from 1 to 3 feet. This one here is only a foot, or about 18 inches underground. And boy, if you're going to put this up in Canada or Wisconsin or even Texas where it's hot, boy, you want to get down deep. And the other thing was, inside it, you just had metal beds that laid over, and it felt like, God, it felt like the county jail, I swear to God. And it was $50,000, and it had no underfloor storage. It was just a metal box inside with some bunks laid down. So the guy actually took me to a customer shelter that he was putting in for a guy near up there, and he said this one was $1 million. I don't believe it was $1 million. I think he was just pulling my leg. It can't be $1 million, but it was just 2 square boxes side by side, and that was the inside of it, and there's the bunk room. So it looks like it sleeps like 10 people, and it was 7 feet wide from wall to wall. And ceilings were 7 feet tall. So I went to the guy's factory to inspect the workmanship, because I am a fabricator and I do recognize that. And there was only one guy at the factory, and they actually had this shelter back here, and this actually had been buried. They pulled it up, and they were having to reinforce it with I-beams so the roof wouldn't cave in, because I think the guy was going to build a structure on top. I still don't know if it would hold it up. We don't recommend building a house over a shelter. Better get it engineered out. But anyway, so I took all my everything I learned, and I basically designed the Atlas Escape Shelter. And the first thing I realized was you need to be deep underground to control the climate. So, and the only material that's made to be buried deep underground that's safe is round pipe. And galvanized corrugated pipe is rated at 200 years expected life. And by being 10 foot in diameter, you've got 10 feet from wall to wall compared to 7 feet wall to wall on most of the square boxes I saw. Now, on the round ones, we're actually making 10 by 51s or 12 by 52s. So our 12-foot wide one is just ginormous. But the most popular one I'm doing right now is called the 10 by 51-foot hillside retreat that's completely decked out for $85,900, and that includes oak floors, fiberglass walk-in showers. You got private bunk rooms, private master bedrooms. You got a dinette. You got a command center with a dinner table. You've got an entertainment center, electric fireplace, big screen TV, plush leather couch. It feels just like $1 million brand new RV, except it's a underground bomb-proof home. So if you want to use it for recreation, camping and stuff. But these are things that I learned, okay, from the scientists, that gamma radiation will not turn. So you must have a 90-degree turn going to your shelter. It has to be a 90-degree turn, okay? So when I looked back and I was making my decisions on what to do, I realized that this wasn't a 90-degree turn. So this doesn't meet the specifications according to the scientists, that you got to have a 90-degree turn, and that the length of the pipe is supposed to be two times the return to the actual entrance of the shelter. So if you got a 4-foot pipe here, you should at least go back about 12 feet. So I have 8 feet here. So this is what I did. I got me a blast-proof, bulletproof hatch on the surface. I put in a staircase that comes down like this. The drawing makes it look like you come down a ladder, but it's not. It's a staircase and it's kicking off to the side, but that's how it looks there. So the staircase comes down at an angle, and you enter in this room, which is called the mud room. Now, mud room is nice because now you've got a place to put your trash, if your dog has to go to the bathroom, just so many things. If you leave your hatch open and it's freezing outside and it's 10 below zero, close your door, you have the heater inside and it stays warm in the shelter. So this mud room that I added that nobody else no one had a mud room, okay? And the other thing is the shelters had one way in and one way out that I saw, okay? And I wanted one way in and I wanted 2 ways out. So I'll show you my clandestine escape hatch here in a second. So this is the idea. You come down the shelter, you enter through a laser cut door that can close behind you, and you see this 3 feet right here? These shelters are designed where you get 55-gallon drums to the entire shelter through the middle boards that all lift up, so you have storage underneath the entire shelter. Just like an airplane, a 727. You sit up top and all the luggage goes underneath the floor. So my shelters are made the exact same way. So I got a unique design and I made it my logo. So this is the idea. You come in, you've got your bathroom here, you've got a bunk room, then you got a big living room, and you got a kitchen, and then you got a bulkhead with a door, and you got a private master bedroom. So when you watch my video on my 10 by 51-foot hillside retreat, you'll just be blown away. But the escape hatch and the escape tunnel, let me explain this to you. So let's say some bad guys, the end of the world's coming or whatever, and somebody follows you back to your hatch, and you go, oh crud, here comes a crowd of looters or marauders. You close your hatch, and they think they're going to get you out because they're going to cover your air pipes, and they're going to try to somehow get your hatch open and drop smoke or gasoline and smoke you out. Well, by closing this door here, we've created an airlock between here and here. There's no airlock I saw between here and here. And the door is airtight. It's not just a door that closes that's bulletproof. It's airtight, okay? So you got an airtight hatch, you got an airtight door, so you create an airlock. So it's going to make it hard for somebody to get in. But they're going to try to get in. They're going to try to smoke you out. So there'll be enough air in there to make it 12, 24 hours or whatever till nightfall to where you can plan your clandestine escape, which is going through the escape tunnel. Now, I crawled in entrance on the other guy, and it was 36 inches. And I made my pipe 42 inches because I'm 6'3". And it's just hard for me to get in a 36-inch pipe. So I should put the dog in there. I just want you people to know that at Atlas Survival Shelters, the dogs will not be left behind. So I put them in my logo, so you dog lovers, I've got your backs, okay? So you go here, you climb up this ladder, and just to let you know, the escape tunnel is flanged. I can extend your escape tunnel out as far as you want. If you want to go 25 feet, 50 more feet, 100 feet, or 100 yards, we can extend this like a pipeline and go out as far away from your shelter so you're as far away from that blast hatch. But what's priced in is 10 foot of escape tunnel, which most people just leave it the way it is. So from the distance from there all the way over there is about 72 feet, okay? So anyway, keep getting off the subject here, but you come up the ladder and you got a coupling right here, and this 4-foot box, which is 1 foot below the surface, is full of sand. you open the 6-inch coupler, the sand pours down, it piles up here. When all the sand is out, you got all these bolts in here. So if anybody even found your hatch freakishly, they found this because it's buried 1 foot below the surface. Even if they found it, they'd have to pull sand out. When they got to the bottom, they find out that it's a one-way bolts. We got nuts welded inside, and the bolts are in the inside. So you can only exit this thing. You can't enter it by any means. So once the sand is out, you open the hatch down, you climb up, you'll have a foot of dirt, you poke some holes in it, your hair's going to get dirty because the sand's going to pour in on you, and then you defend yourself or you escape in the middle of the night. So that's my design, and that's how I came up with the Atlas Survival Shelter. I didn't see mud rooms, and I didn't see a secret escape tunnels. Now, I've seen that people have added escape hatches basically right through the middle of the box. So, I mean, you got 20 feet between here and there. So if guys are standing here, they're going to see your head pop up. You're pretty screwed. Where my design is, I'm getting you out as far away from that main hatch as possible. And I'm 10 feet wide. I've got massive amounts of storage. Oh God, what else can I say? The galvanized material, even the whole shelter bolts together. So when this shelter gets out there, there's no weld involved. This air pipe will bolt on right here. The air pipe bolts on. That pipe bolts on, and the air pipe bolts on. If you can change 4 tires on a car, you can install an Atlas Survival Shelter for the most part. There is some couplings. I do put 10 couplings on each shelter for your plumbing and your wiring and stuff, but those are options that you'll decide what you want to do later. But my website has pictures on how to do it. So believe it or not, most of the people are actually saying, you know what, it's so easy, send it out, we'll do it ourselves. And I haven't had one person call me back and say, you know what, it was too difficult, I need help. Not one time. So anyway, this is the Atlas Survival Shelter. And keep in mind, you want to be deep. Deeper is better. And you can go further than the 10 foot, all right? So anyway, thanks a lot for your time, guys. Bye-bye.